we are entering right now, and this week is all about growing freelance. So the first week and a half was about starting. So we just scratched the surface about, you know, the basics and essentials when you go independent. And now this week and next one is going to be full speed into how to grow your business, how to build partnerships, what to look after when you grow your business. And we have selected several excellent speakers to cover those various topics. But also this weekend, we are focusing on well-being more than ever. So we'll have Olympic champion giving a workout on Saturday and yoga teacher on Sundays. So do not miss those. That's going to be absolutely excellent. Very excited to having these two excellent trainers to join us. With that, I'd like to introduce Paul. And if you have checked his name online, you're probably as impressed as I am. Paul is high performance mastermind. He's award-winning professional speaker and author of 2 international books. He worked with so many companies, I cannot even list them all here. He's a TED speaker on top and a stand-up comedian impersonating Arnold Schwarzenegger.
As well.
Can we see that a little bit? All right. Well, with that, I think you're pretty much excited already. I'll give the word to Paul to talk about strategic quitting. And why is this the first topic on growing your freelance business? Is because in order to grow, we have to strategically quit certain things. And that's personally for me, for instance, was the most difficult decision ever and still is. So that's why, Paul, thanks for joining us. Really, really appreciate your involvement, and the floor is yours.
Absolutely, Elena, thank you. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Yeah, who knows where we are now online, so from a time zone perspective. Today I'm going to talk about business growth, and the subject is the awesome power of strategic quitting. And the reason that I'm going to talk about strategic quitting is that in the past few months I have worked with a lot of independent professionals to help them get everything they can out of everything they got. How do you thrive in turbulent times? And that was the big question there. And what I'm going to do in the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to share with you a couple of best practices, best ideas, which we've been working on in the past few months to help them raise the bar and achieve success. Now, I'm going to talk about 3 subjects today. First of all, I'll talk about the difference between working in and on your business. Then I'll talk about strategic quitting. And then I'll talk about the practical application for you as an independent professional. So how can you apply this idea to grow your business? Now, let's talk about the difference between working in and on your business. And that's a very important distinction you need to make if you are an independent professional. What's working in your business? Imagine you are a little hamster, a little animal. You live in a cage. One day you wake up and you decide that your goal in life is to run your little hamster wheel in your cage as fast as possible. Make sure it spins as fast as possible. So what you do, you go on a diet, on a workout, you start to read about running in hamster wheels and train every day about 8 hours. And after about 9 months, you are the fastest hamster in the world. No one is faster than you. And that's working in your business. In other words, you become better and better and better at what you do. Now, working on your business, you are the same hamster in the same little cage with your same hamster wheel, with the same goal. You like to spin your hamster wheel as fast as possible. But instead of starting to run and start to act, you become more strategic. And so you go to a little hamster computer, you order a little electrical motor online, through Amazon, and when it arrives the next day, you connect the motor to the little hamster wheel, pull the switch, and all of a sudden, the little hamster wheel goes 10 times faster than you could ever do yourself. And this is working on your business. Yeah, so that's the difference between working in and working on your business. And if I draw this, I can draw a little hamster wheel, and it would look like this. This is the little hamster wheel, and imagine you got 2 arrows here. One arrow, that's all the money and the energy and the time which goes working in your business. And the other arrow is all the money and time and energy going into working on your business, in versus on. Yeah. Now, the distinction between the two is the following. If you think about it, working on your business, there are only 3 activities which are working on your business. The first one is marketing. Marketing. And what is marketing for me? Marketing, all those efforts which attract the right customers to you. In other words, if you're perfect in marketing, you don't do sales anymore, you purely do distribution. People come to you. Those are marketing activities. The second one is innovation. And my definition of innovation is creating additional value. Creating additional value, especially for your clients. That's innovation. And the third activity working on your business is strategy. And my definition of strategy is the ability to achieve your big strategic goals with the least amount of effort. Now, everything you do to achieve your strategic goals with the least amount of effort, that's strategy. Now, these are the only three activities which are working on your business. Everything else is working in your business. And the reason why is that each of these activities do not have a ceiling to what they can achieve in your business. And I'll give you an example. Imagine you do marketing activity. You do an advertisement in the Financial Times. With this advertisement, you can get one client. You can also get 1 million clients. So with the same effort, you can have unlimited value. Everything else, what you do, everything else will have a ceiling. I'll give you an example. Cost cutting. If you ever do cost cutting, there's a ceiling. And the ceiling of cost cutting is, of course, 0, right? Yeah. So that's the difference between working in and working on your business, all the activities which do not have a ceiling. Marketing, innovation, strategy. Now, curious for you, and like you to answer in the chat, if you look at your business, percentage-wise, looking at your business, how much time, money, energy do you spend working in, and how much time money and energy do you spend working on your business? Together, it's 100%. So what's the difference between the two? How much time do you spend in? How much time do you spend on? As a little guesstimate. So go ahead. Put it in the chat. How much time in? How much time on? What do you do? 50-50. I see a 50-50. Anything else? 75-25. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else? 40 in, 60 on. Yeah. 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 Anything else? What's a bit of range? In versus on. 70-30, 30-70. Yeah, difference there. Yeah. Yeah. So it varies. It varies where you are. And typically in startups, you tend to be spending much more time on. In big companies, there's much more time spent in the business. Now, here's the big secret. If you want to achieve big strategic goals, if you want to thrive in turbulent times, the trick is the ability to spend more time on, because this is where unlimited leverage is. And in order to do so, the trick is to apply strategic quitting. And here you have to quit. In other words, you quit activities in, and you release the time and the money and the energy working on your business, in versus on. Yeah, that's the trick here. And the impact can be very interesting. Imagine you run at 70-30, yeah, and you apply strategic quitting. So this one goes to 60, and automatically this one goes to 40. Yeah, what you just did is, with a slight movement here, 10%, all of a sudden your ability to achieve strategic goals, the speed in which you achieve strategic goals, increases by 25%. By a simple change in focus, all of a sudden you have a massive impact on your business. So strategic quitting is about shifting resources from in to on. Yeah? So that's the first concept for today, working on your business. So that's one thing. The second question is, of course, how can you do this? And then we come to the concept of strategic quitting. And what is strategic quitting? Strategic quitting is based on what we call the Michelangelo principle. Michelangelo. Now, what is the Michelangelo principle? Probably many of you will know Michelangelo, the 15th century Italian sculptor. And he made a sculpture, it's called the David. It's in Firenze in Italy. It's probably one of the most beautiful statues in the world. If you've seen it, it's astonishing. And the story goes that Michelangelo had made David, and they asked him, Michelangelo, how did you make the David? And what Michelangelo said is, I was looking at the rough piece of marble, the big rough piece of marble. I envisioned the David hiding inside the marble, and I simply took out everything which was not David. So taking out everything which is not David. And that's the Michelangelo principle, and that's the concept of strategic quitting, to take out everything which is not your David. Yeah? Now, if you start taking out stuff out of your business, shift from working in to working on, you will have 3 advantages. The first advantage is it will make your business much more robust. It will make your business much more robust. And I'll give you an example. Imagine you run a restaurant with a large menu. And what you'll see in the menu is you have certain signature dishes. Yeah? Dishes they sell very well. Everyone comes to your restaurant for those dishes. Now, what strategic quitting is all about is to look at your menu, take out everything which is not your signature dish, and focus on your signature dish. Because what happens is once you are known for your signature dish, even in difficult times, people love to go to your restaurant because you stand out. So it makes you much more robust. The second reason why strategic quitting is often the superior approach to growing your business, being successful, is it creates opportunities. Now I go back to my restaurant example. Imagine you have a restaurant, you have a lot of dishes, maybe you have to invest in new ingredients, a new chef, a new kitchen to make all those non-signature dishes. Well, if you take it out, all of a sudden, you can stick to your existing kitchen, your existing chef, and all of a sudden you have time to become even better and grow. Time and energy and money, you release it. So it creates opportunities. And third reason, it's often much easier. Often it's much easier to simply take out stuff than trying to add more stuff. That's often very easy, much easier to do it. So strategic quitting, the Michelangelo principle, gives you 3 advantages. It makes you more robust, less fragile. It will create opportunity. It's also easier to do. Now, the third question for today is, if we know this, hey, strategic quitting, that's interesting, Michelangelo principle, how would you apply this to your own work, to your own environment? What are opportunities for you as an independent professional to apply the Michelangelo principle, strategic quitting? And what I'm going to talk about is 4 opportunities which you can use. And there are opportunities within your time, and opportunities within clients, opportunities within vendors, and there are opportunities within your products or services. 4 areas and where you can apply strategic quitting. And let's talk about time first. And the most important concept here, the most important number here for you as a professional is this number. The number 1440. Yeah? If you think about it, it's the most important number in the world. And the reason why this is the most important number, it's the amount of minutes in a day. The amount of minutes in a day. It is connected to time, and time is the most precious resource that you have. And the reason is you cannot stop it, you cannot get more of it. Every day you start with 1440, and at the end of the day, it's gone. Yeah, so time is the most precious resource that you have. And if you talk about strategic quitting, it's important to understand the concept of the highest and best use of your time. The highest and best use of your time. Now, what's the highest and best use of your time? Those are activities. You are good at the activities, you're skilled, you are passionate about the activity, and you create value for other people. You're good at the activity, you're passionate, you create value for other people. That is the highest and best use of your time. And you need all 3. Because if you're good and you're passionate, but you don't create value, you got a hobby. If you're good, you create value, but you're not passionate, you got a job. And if you're passionate, you create value, but you're not very good, you're an amateur, right? So you need all 3. And what you need to realize is, as an independent professional, what is my highest and best use of time? What is my highest and best use of time? Looking at skill, passion, and value for others. And then everything which is not your highest and best use of time, apply the Michelangelo principle. Take it out, because this will release the time to do more of your highest and best use of your time. And so that's one opportunity for you where you can apply strategic quitting. What is the highest and best use of your time? Here's a second opportunity for you. Clients. And what you need to understand about clients, every time you talk about clients, the 80-20 principle applies. 80-20 principle applies. And what it means is that 80% of your value comes from 20% of your clients. That's the 80-20 rule. It's a natural rule. Actually, we see it everywhere, also in business. For example, if you look at lion cubs being born in the wild, 80% of the lion cubs being born in the wild are born from 20% of the lion males, right? So there you see the 80-20 rule as well. Another part is 80% of the rainfall happens on 20% of the land mass. Now, we talked about it before. Ask our Scottish and English friends if that's true. That's true. Yeah. 80% of the rain falls on 20% of the land mass. So 80% of the value comes from 20% of your clients. Yeah. The opposite is also true. 80% of your headaches comes from 20% of your clients. And those 20% are not the same. Yeah, usually those are the clients who are difficult, low margin, you have to do a lot, they are never satisfied, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. Now here's the concept. And if you want to apply strategic quitting on your clients, fire the bottom 20% of your clients. Fire the bottom 20% of your clients, because this will release the time and the energy and the money to take care of the top 20% of your clients and find even better clients. Yeah? So fire clients, you can fire your clients. If you think that's a bit drastic, then don't fire your clients, but introduce them to your competition. And that's also fine. Yeah. So fire clients, very important. Yeah. 80-20 rule. So there's an opportunity for strategic quitting. Fire clients. Now the third one is in your vendors. In your vendors, your suppliers, maybe your partners, your stakeholders. And what the past 6 months have shown us is something very interesting. What it has shown us is your vendors and partners who have operated above the line. And your vendors, stakeholders who have operated below the line. Now, what is operating above the line? They were there for you. They continue to work with you. They continue to think with you, help you out whenever you needed it. They were there for you, above the line. Below the line, they were in their bunker, never responded, no help, no support, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. So it's interesting to make the analysis, looking at my stakeholders, looking at my vendors, where I operate, who's been operating above, who's been operating below. And ask yourself, if I want to build a future, who's going to be my partner? And probably the answer will be everyone here. Those are my potential partners for the future. And these probably I have to reconsider if I want to work with those in the future. And so strategic quitting is about understanding who's been operating above, who's been operating below, and then apply strategic quitting here, Michelangelo principle. Yeah, so that's the third application for you. Now the fourth application, products or service. Products or service. And this is an interesting one because what you need to understand is whatever business you are in, what you need to understand is this business operates with certain norms, certain standards. This is how we do this in this business. I'll give you an example. A standard for a bank, a norm for a bank, is you give them money. They say, thank you very much, and then they give the money to someone else. That's standard. That's standard, how banks operate. The standard for restaurants is you go to the establishment, you eat, and then you pay. That's how restaurants operate. Yeah? Standards or norms. Now, if you want to innovate, the trick is, what is it that I can do to break the standards or break the norms in my industry or profession? Break the standards, break the norms. I'll give you an example with the restaurants. They broke the standards. You don't have to come to my establishment anymore. We can deliver food to you. That's what happened in the past 6 months. They broke the standard. Yeah. So think about what are typically standards in my industry, in my professional field, and what is it I can do to strategically quit those standards and still run my business? Yeah. Strategic quitting, and this is how innovation starts. For example, if you were IKEA 30 or 40 years ago, and the standard was that you would build furniture for your customers, you would break the standard and say, oh, imagine customers build the furniture themselves. And all of a sudden you got a new concept, right? So this is how innovation happens. You break the norms and break the new standards. Now, one of the things you can think of, especially if you are an independent professional, and I've worked with quite some clients of mine to break through a certain standard, which is the standard of charging by the hour. Charging by the hour, hourly fees or hourly rates. Now, if you think about it, hourly rates is an ancient practice, and actually it's an unethical practice, if you think about it. Because if you charge hourly rates, it's in the interest of the client to keep the amount of hours as low as possible. It's in your interest to make it as high as possible. So there's no partnership there. There's only friction between that. So what I said is, hey, if the norm is hourly rates, like with lawyers or accountants or other professions, even IT, why don't you move to a fixed fee? This is what a fixed fee is all about. Yeah, for this fixed fee, this is what you deliver. And this is what we call value-based pricing. Value-based pricing. So shift from hourly to a fixed fee. And what you tend to see is that clients love it because they never have to make an investment decision anymore once they made the investment. And you will love it because you can do whatever it takes to achieve the result, and then you're fine. So this is one way of breaking norms and breaking standards. Breaking norms and breaking standards, this is how you improve your products or services. Breaking norms, this is how you innovate. Strategic quitting. Yeah. So in summary, strategic quitting, we've been talking about a couple of things. First of all, we've been talking about the difference between working in and on your business, marketing, innovation, strategy. Shift your thinking, shift your time and energy, marketing, innovation, strategy. Then we've been talking about the advantages of strategic quitting, the Michelangelo principle. It makes you more robust. It is easier and it creates opportunities. And finally, we've been talking about a couple of examples where you can apply strategic quitting as an independent professional. In the highest and best use of your time, in firing your clients, in working with vendors above the line, and finally breaking industry standards or industry norms, how to make it happen and how to do that. Now let me pause here for a moment. Maybe there are questions. If you have questions, put it in the chat. Any questions about these concepts, these ideas? If so, do put it in the chat.
Or maybe if it's faster, just unmute yourself and ask it.
Yeah, that's also fine.
Mm-hmm. All right. Maybe I can ask a question that I got while I was hearing.
Yeah.
Well, how to diversify in these conditions? Because if you start quitting little pieces of your work that doesn't bring lots of value, but still brings a little bit of money to you, and maybe in the past you're thinking, okay, I do this little piece, maybe I can develop it further. Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah. Here's the thing: diversification will make you more robust as well. Instead of a diving board, you build a Greek temple with different columns where you can put a roof on. Diversification is very important. The thing is that you strategically need to quit those things which will not lead to diversification, but only lead to spending you a lot of time for a little bit of money. Yeah. So in other words, strategic quitting is about looking at your entire business and quitting those things which do not bring much and will not have much future. Yeah. And then replace it with something else, either built on existing business which work very well, or test different things. Yeah. So strategic quitting is not about non-diversification. It's about stopping those things which will not help you to either diversify or being much more successful than you already are.
All right, thanks a lot. Then in other words, I can maybe outsource some of the things to someone, right?
Absolutely. Outsourcing is one way of strategic quitting. For example, building a website, if that's not the highest and best use of your time, it's very easy to go to a professional who will build a website for you. And you can spend that time doing the thing that you do.
Yeah. And then the question with that one, I always have, all right, I know it will cost me something if I outsource, let's say, 5-6 hours, but then how much can I get from a client to cover that amount?
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, it's always an exercise like, okay, which way to go.
Yeah. Here's the thing. The trick is to make sure that your time you spend is as valuable as possible. And probably that's not building websites if that's not your business. It's probably servicing your clients the thing that you do well. Yeah, that's where your value is. That's the highest and best use of your time.
All right. Any other questions in the meantime from anyone?
May I ask a question?
Sure, yeah.
If you speak of strategic quitting, does it also exist tactical quitting? If so, what would it be?
Yeah, practical quitting. Here's the thing: what practical quitting is, that is giving up, right? Giving up. And the difference between strategic quitting and giving up is the following: if you got strategic goals, yeah, the question is how can I achieve those goals? So I'm very focused on achieving the goals, but I should be very flexible on the alternatives to achieve my goals. So strategic quitting is about the flexibility in the methods to achieve your goals. Quitting is about giving up on your goals. And that's the difference between the two. Did I answer your question?
I meant tactical. I didn't mean quitting. Tactical.
Ethical quitting, not practical.
Sorry?
Ethical quitting. Philip.
No, I meant the difference between strategy and tactics.
Yeah. For me, strategy, everything which is connected to achieving your big goals is strategy. Everything else is tactics or operations. That would be my distinction between the two.
Yeah, but some of your examples to me were more tactical than strategical.
It might be. It depends on your goals, of course.
Okay.
Depends on your goals.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Now, in view of the time, let me summarize with a couple of things. This is a summary of what we discussed. There's a difference between in versus on. Yeah, your ability to work on your business determines the speed in which you achieve your strategic goals. Yeah. And strategic quitting opportunities here in time, in clients, in suppliers, but also in your industry and professional norms. Yeah, this is how you can innovate. Yeah. Your ability to strategically quit equals your ability to massively succeed. And that's the big secret of, if you talk about business and business growth. Yeah, it's not about doing more, it's about smarter working. Yeah, but first you have to quit. First you have to release the time and the energy to make that happen. Now, if you want to have more, connect with me on LinkedIn, always nice. So we build our network and we help each other. But also you can go to my website, paulrulkens.com, and there's a lot of free resources there. Also a little ebook, which will help you to apply strategic quitting with additional examples and ideas for independent professionals. So you can download it. You can download the toolkit. So there's a lot of stuff here on free resources to help you to get everything you can out of everything you've got. Final words. Ideas are useless without action. Ideas are useless without action. So my advice to you is to pick one idea, which you hear from me, maybe from other speakers today. Pick one idea, apply the idea, and see what happens. And this is how you can get everything you can out of all you've got. I thank you very much. Elina, the floor is yours.
Mm-hmm. Paul, thank you so much. Really inspirational and lots to learn. I do have one tiny question though.
Sure.
Yeah. We like examples. Like, okay, there's a lot of things we're talking about. We like to make it very practical. Do you have an example to share when in your practice quitted strategically one thing and then they achieved excellent results?
Yeah, here's one example. A client of mine, he was in the training business, training. And training business by definition was an hourly thing with a little margin on top of it. And what I said is you need to quit in order to strategically quit. The trick is to no longer sell your training business to HR people, but to business people, because they look at the value. What is the value going to be of this training? How will it help me to achieve my strategic goals? And by simply quitting, refusing to talk to HR, but moving directly to the business leaders, the profit and loss responsible, they will able to shift from hourly rates to value-based fees. So that's a practical application of strategic quitting.
That's excellent. And actually this resonates to Ross Welsh. He gave presentation last week talking exactly about that, creating value and going from hours into like package price or annual price actually. So, if you haven't seen it, please, you can rewatch it. I think it's on a platform already. Ross Welsh, he went from freelancing to owning 2 companies just by applying this principle. So that's excellent. That's also another example.
Good.
Great, fantastic. Well, thanks a lot, Paul. Really interesting, and hope to see you around.
Excellent. Good luck with the application.
Thank you.